The Dodgers run into a buzzsaw with the name Brewers written on the side of it. Can Shohei and the boys avoid getting swept in LA? This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hello there and welcome into MLB Game Night, every game, every night. I am one of your hosts, JD Haffron from Locked On Cardinals. We've also got Steve Lennox, host of Locked On Red Sox Postcast. You can find him at Lennox on Baseball on X. A lot of brooms today, Steve. Brooms galore with so many teams looking to complete sweeps. Some did, some didn't. We'll go through those. The Blue Jays looking for their 10th consecutive home win. And then you got Tarik Skubal back on the hill for Sunday Night Baseball. We're going to get to all of these games. Today's episode being brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. But let it start in Los Angeles. Brewers, Dodgers, Brewers looking to pull off the sweep of the series in LA. Coming into the game, Brewers had won 9 in a row and 18 games over 500. LA trying to avoid being swept at home. We got Chuck from Locked On Brewers with the results from Chavez Ravine.
I certainly hope there's better competition out there than the LA Dodgers these days. I mean, the Dodgers, I thought the Brewers were going to go in there and get a little competition from these guys, but the world champions, no match for the Milwaukee Brewers. They swept the season series 6-0. Maybe Seattle will be better, all right? Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, instant reaction, Locked On Brewers. Jose Quintana, Isaac Collins. I mean, who are these guys? Nobody wanted Jose Quintana. The Brewers signed him spring training, and he's been amazing. Today, 6 solid innings on 4 hits. Ike Collins does it again. Another big 2-run single. We keep wanting to replace some of these guys. Maybe the Brewers don't need to make any moves at the trading deadline. We'll talk about that a little bit later on tonight. Wrap up a big weekend in Los Angeles and move on to Seattle. We'll talk to you later on tonight on Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Chuck getting a little cocky there, Steve, to be honest with you.
Maybe it's Chuck Freeman providing JD the Dodgers with bulletin board material if they meet up postseason baseball in October.
Yeah, coming in hot, Chuck. Look at you. And the Dodgers, I mean, be honest, though. Dodgers looking around like, what the heck just happened? We got Harry, our new host from Locked On Dodgers, here with his thoughts on yet another loss to Milwaukee.
Dodgers just got swept again by the Brewers, and that's not even the worst part of our weekend as Dodgers fans. First baseman Freddie Freeman got hit by a pitch on his left wrist and immediately left the game. He didn't run to first base. He didn't get checked by the trainers on the field. No, he went to the dugout and took himself out of the game. That means that he knows it's a serious situation, and if he misses a considerable amount of time, that's trouble. The Dodgers are in deep you know what if that's the case, because this was the 100th game of the season. October is right around the corner, and the Dodgers need Freddie Freeman both in the lineup for his bat and on the field for his defense to have this team be the team that we know they can be, not the team that we've seen for the last 3 weeks. The Dodgers, they potentially could be in very big trouble without Freddie Freeman on the field.
Now, there was some good news for Dodgers fans, despite the loss and despite Freddie having to leave this game. X-rays came back negative. He is considered day-to-day after getting hit by that pitch. So that is some good news, although he has been scuffling a little bit anyway. It hasn't been the same Freddie Freeman we've been used to. But, Steve, what has been the most impressive thing about the Brewers so far this season to you to see where they are now after winning 10 in a row?
Yeah, 8-game win streak earlier this season, 6-0 against the Dodgers on the season, and who knows if that carries to October like we were just talking about. But I just think overall, Red Sox were in Milwaukee before the All-Star break earlier in the season, and they got swept by the Brewers. They do everything well. They've got strong starting pitching. They got Quinn Priester from the Red Sox in a trade early on in the year. He's been solid for them. He's had a couple of bumps in the road, but overall he's been solid. He was terrific in this series against the Dodgers in Los Angeles. They've got a good bullpen. and they do the fundamentals, which we've been screaming about, right, around baseball. And right now, this is a team that can win when they play small ball, and they can also hit the ball to the park. So like the Cubs, that we'll talk about in just a moment, they do a lot of things well. They're above average in just about every facet of the game.
Yeah, and they're another team that wasn't expected. I mean, people don't talk about the Brewers, and this is 3 years in a row that they've been pretty darn good, even though they continued to move on from bigger names, the guys like Devin Williams, Willie Adames, the Josh Haders of the world. Like, they move on from these guys, and they seem to just keep rolling on. So impressive stuff from the Milwaukee Brewers so far this year, and they continue to go. You mentioned Red Sox, Cubs. That's where we're going next. The Sox trying to avoid being swept by the other top team in the NL Central and the Chicago Cubs. We got Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs with the scoop from Wrigley.
Stop me if you heard this before, but the Chicago Cubs cannot complete the sweep at Wrigley Field this weekend. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. And look, it was always going to be an uphill battle today. The Red Sox was a really important game for them. Garrett Crochet on the mound, their stopper. They don't want to get swept to start the second half after the way they finished the first half. It was always going to be a tough game, but the Cubs had opportunities in this game. They left a lot of guys on base. PCA got picked off of second, trying to steal third, which was a little bit of a rally killer, and they couldn't get anything going. But really the story was 5 consecutive innings. The Cubs walked a leadoff hitter. The wind was blowing in, but when you do that, you're setting yourself up for trouble. And Abreu hit 2 home runs. Bregman hit the big one in a pinch hit situation to put the game away, and that was it. So overall, very good weekend for the Cubs, taking 2 out of 3 from a really tough Boston team. But, at some point here, you'd love to finish off these sweeps, get rolling, stack up 6, 7, 8 wins in a row with the way, the division is playing out. But Cubs will try and bounce back against the Royals on Monday.
All right, Steve, you do the postcast for the Boston Red Sox. Your thoughts from the Red Sox side of things in this game against Chicago?
Yeah, until Willie Abreu hit the home run in the 7th inning that put them up 2-1, they had scored 1 run in the series over 24 innings. Shut out on Saturday by Imanaga and the bullpen. Once Abreu hit that home run, they didn't give up the lead. Alex Bregman, day off, coming back from the quad injury, pinch hit in the 8th inning, second career pinch hit home run. That made it 5-1. And then Abreu, as Sam alluded to, his 4th multi-home run game of the season, did a solo shot in that 8th inning. Garrett Crochet went 6, gave up 1 earned runs. One earned run. Wasn't at his best, JD. But the bullpen after they got the lead, Whitlock, Hicks, who they got in the Devers trade, and then Jorge Alcala, who they traded for earlier in the season with the Twins, all worked as scoreless innings. So they dropped 2 out of 3, but they go to Philadelphia feeling awfully good about themselves, taking the finale. And Sam's made the point before, the Cubs struggle against left-handed pitching. And if you're going to struggle against a lefty, they had Garrett Crochet on the ropes a couple of times, but just could not come up with that timely base hit. He got through 6 innings again, picked up the win.
To shift the focus back to the Central here, Cubs and Brewers are now tied at the top of the NL Central at 59 and 40. Which team? Just let me see your crystal ball there. What do we got, Steve? Which team do you have crossing the finish line in first place in the Central this year?
Hey, my want is for this to be a 2-team race all the way through until the last week of September. The regular season wraps up on September 28th. Into that final week of the regular season, I want these 2 teams to be neck and neck. And right now, it feels like neither one is going to step away and create a little distance between the 2. So I think it goes down to the end. I do think the Cubs, I don't want to say the Brewers don't have names because they do. We're just not familiar with them overall. Churio, I love. Frelick is a guy I love. Bryce Terang is a guy I love. You've got Yelich. But Pete Crow Armstrong, Suzuki, and Kyle Tucker, those 3 guys right now, man, they're awfully hard to beat in that lineup. You don't get through them 3 or 4 times a game without somebody doing something in a positive fashion in that lineup.
Yeah, and I wonder which team might be more desperate. We know the Cubs should have money to spend if they want to. Yep. Milwaukee, not really well known for spending a lot of money, but we'll see what they decide to do at the deadline and who gets more aggressive to add some pieces to maybe push that lead up a little further. So it should be entertaining, though, in the Central moving forward. Coming up, can anyone slow down the Toronto Blue Jays? They go for the sweep against the Giants, plus Aaron Judge makes some history with the Yankees. This is MLB Game Night. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trade, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website, it is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right, which is the goal, right? Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need. It's going to get delivered to you fast from coast to coast. And say you need help with an order. It happens, right? You got a question that you need answered. Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you're always able to talk to a real person. No punching buttons into the phone. You talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free TradeMaster program, it offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. You get free shipping and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals, they're already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order with supplyhouse.com. MLB Game Night taking you around Major League Baseball on this Sunday. We're going to head to Canada. Let's go to Toronto. So many brooms out today, Steve, as I mentioned. A lot of chances to get some sweeps in this one. Blue Jays complete the series sweep with an 8-6 win in the finale over San Francisco. It is their 8th series sweep of the season. Over their last 20, Steve, they're 16-4, have won 10 in a row at home, and are a season-high 17 games over 500. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he goes yard again in this one. His 13th, also had an RBI single in the 6th to make it 8-6. George Springer, Jorge, as I like to call him, solo home run in the 5th. He's got 17. Addison Barger, nobody knew much about this guy, at least as far as nationally coming into this season. There he is again with another home run. He's got 14. Jose Barrios, he ends up pitching well again, 6-4 with the win, 5 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts. Robbie Ray's been good this year for the Giants, but he falls to 9-4 with the loss, just 4 1/3, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 5 walks. We know that's a big no-no. 2 home runs allowed. This Blues Jays squad, it just does not seem like it's slowing down at all. Steve, what do you think they need to do or go after at the trade deadline to stay ahead of things in the American League East? Because you know you got the Yankees coming after them.
I'd like to see another bat. And admittedly right now, I don't know where Anthony Santander is, but his bat was missing.
He's on milk cartons, Steve. He is missing.
So, I mean, if they can add him at some point in the coming weeks, and I'll look it up at some point, but I'm not sure where he is injury-wise on the injured list right now for them, but he'd be a great big addition if he could get going offensively and they could get something out of him in his first year. I mean, he was a big signing for them. I mean, they were swimming and they were fishing in the deep end of the pool, deep end of the pond in free agency, just didn't get anywhere. And they've done that the last couple of years. Think about the Giants and adding Devers. They couldn't add a bat in free agency and they were willing to give the money out. The Blue Jays have been there too. So I think another bat in that lineup. I do like Barger, Wagner, Will Wagner, Billy Wagner's son. Those guys are coming along and they are becoming names, sort of like the guys with the Milwaukee Brewers as well that Chuck was alluding to, that, hey, nobody knows them on a national level. But I think they can add a bat. I like their pitching. I like the starting rotation. You mentioned Barrios getting the victory on Sunday. I've always liked Gausman. I've always liked Bassett. So they're in pretty good shape. 3-game lead right now in the Yankees. And the Yankees are coming to town. This is going to be an interesting start of the week. You and John will have it covered for the first 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be a fun series to pay attention to.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that. Last check on Anthony Santander, the shoulder issue, still not swinging a bat. So that's good. Things have not progressed the way they want them to. So tough stuff there, especially with the amount of money they're paying him. But, chance to make some moves here at the deadline, which is coming up quickly. Mention the Yankees. They were in Atlanta. You had that nutty game on Saturday between the two teams. And what would they do for a follow-up on Sunday? We got Brian from Locked On Yankees with the latest.
Yankees escape Atlanta with a series victory despite doing everything imaginable to not win this series. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees. And listen, you win on Saturday with an improbable comeback. You get the win on Sunday behind a really good performance from the team. But you knew Marcus Stroman wasn't going to give you length. You didn't know what Will Warren could potentially give you. And you started on Friday with a bullpen game. None of this makes any sense to me. They're now going into Toronto in a major divisional series with a bullpen that's completely taxed. So you got a series win in Atlanta. You certainly take that. But you're going in extremely depleted and hoping your top starters can give you major length in Toronto. We'll be discussing all of it on Locked On Yankees throughout the week. We'll see how this one goes north of the border.
He mentions that, and that is something that Toronto lineup does. They wear the starters out big time. If you haven't watched the Toronto Blue Jays game yet this year, they are a pain in the butt for starters. Like, it is constantly foul balls, watching pitches, deep counts. So that's very troublesome for what the Yankees are getting into with that series on the horizon here. Aaron Judge had a solo home run in this one in the first inning off Grant Holmes. 36th of the season. This was a big deal. His 351st of his career, moving him into a tie for 6th place on the Yankees all-time home run list with Alex Rodriguez. Whether you recognize that or not, it's up to you. But next up on the list, you got some big names. Yogi Berra, 358. Joe DiMaggio's at 361. And barring any injuries, he should be able to pass both of them this season. Yankees get the win there, but obviously we're looking forward to what's going to happen in this upcoming series. Moving on to the Astros at the Seattle Mariners, another possible sweep. This time, the Mariners are actually looking to brush away the Astros, but the Astros got them this time, didn't they, Steve?
They did. And they leave Seattle and the state of Washington with a 4-game lead in that division. Again, I would have loved to have seen the Mariners complete the series sweep to just get a little bit closer, pick up 3 games with a series sweep. Did not happen. Astros actually trailed 3-0, win 11-3. So 11 unanswered runs. Again, Astros leave the state of Washington, up 4 games in the division. Taylor Trammell, 3 hits, double home run, 3 RBIs. Christian Walker, I love that signing during the offseason. He had a home run, 13th on the year. That put the Astros up 4-3, never trailed again. The pitching matchup they were hopeful for, Hunter Brown, Brian Wu, not so much. Wu gave up 5 runs, 4 earned over 6. Brown lasted just 4 innings through 89 pitches and gave up 3 earned runs, both taking no decisions.
Now, the Astros did maintain that 4-game lead over Seattle in the West, but they also lost Isaac Paredes to an injury in this series, a hamstring problem. So no Paredes. Alvarez is out. Pena's out. Like, the list just keeps going for Houston. Do the Astros need to make some big-time moves, or do you think that they're just going to rely on getting these guys back healthy instead of making any major things at the trade deadline, which is coming up here shortly?
Yeah, I would think they'd make a move. They're always interesting. Because I think if they make one move, they might make several moves. Or if they don't, if they really choose to stand pat, then that's what they're going to do. But they're not just going to dip their toes. I feel like they would make a couple of moves. Yordan Alvarez, I mean, we've been hoping that he'd be back in that lineup at some point in time. It's just not there. I mean, we talked about Santander with the Blue Jays earlier. And it almost feels like it's going to be a completely lost season for Alvarez. But still, without him in the lineup, they've got a 4-game lead in the division.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
Huge. Yeah.
The Reds were in New York to face the Mets. Reds quietly, we talk about NL Central, you got the Brewers and the Cubs. The Reds have not gone away. They've been very, very good, creeping up on some people, and took the first 2 in New York over the Mets, who have been very, very good at home this year. We got Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds with his thoughts on what happened in Sunday's game.
That's okay. We'll let the New York Mets have one of those 3 games. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And the Cincinnati Reds couldn't quite escape Flushing Queens with a sweep. It was a well-pitched game. I mean, Andrew Abbott had a nice 6-inning stretch there. The bullpen did well. The only run that was scored, the go-ahead run that was scored by the Mets later on, was a fielder's choice. So it's not as if the Mets lineup, the vaunted Mets lineup with all the money in the world, was able to out-hit the Reds pitching. But, every so often the umpire just makes a strike zone that's favorable to one team, and he really favored the Mets and really gave Juan Soto a walk that he did not deserve, and the Reds ended up losing because Juan Soto was on third base when he shouldn't have been. But hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now the Reds head to Washington. Let's see if they can continue this momentum. Love seeing a series win right out of the All-Star break for the Redlegs.
He doesn't sound bitter at all, does he, Steve?
No, and it's interesting because I watched most of Saturday's game, and Soto got rung up on a called strike 3, which he doesn't get rung up. He doesn't take many called strikes. May know the strike zone better than any hitter in baseball. And then he was out on a check swing on a strikeout later in the game on Saturday as well. But, yeah, I mean, he had a great break. Hey, Jeff said it, work the walk, borderline pitch. But the ground ball to second base that he scored the go-ahead and turned out to be the winning run on from third. He got a great secondary lead and was able to score that go-ahead run. And then Stanek took care of business in the 9th inning. Edwin Diaz hit a batter in that 8th inning. That brought in the run as he hit the batter with the bases loaded. So, again, Reds had a chance for the series sweep. They still feel good leaving New York, taking 2 out of 3.
I had a buddy who's a big Reds fan, and he was talking about how the Reds moved Noel De Marte into the outfield for some work. And he thinks that maybe they're planning something, maybe a return of Eugenio Suarez to Cincinnati. I don't mean to start rumors, but that's just what he was talking about. He's like, what if they were doing that? What is the other point of moving your third baseman into the outfield? So just something to keep in mind.
It is, because he's the coveted bat right now. And we're going to talk about him as we talked about him on Saturday on MLB Game Night, a little bit later on in our show. But, I mean, everyone's going to be in on Suarez for the Diamondbacks. Once they put that for sale sign on him, I mean, they're going to take – Mike Hazen's going to take all sorts of calls. And that only benefits the Diamondbacks because they can make their pitch and take the best deal out there.
No. Orioles at the Rays. Rays have been in a little bit of a funk recently over the last, a couple of weeks, but they won the first 2 in this one. But on Sunday, the O's avoided the sweep. So put your brooms down. That one doesn't work out. Orioles win the finale by a score of 5-3. The win snaps the O's 4-game losing streak. Jackson Holliday led off the game with a home run, his 13th, second career home run to lead off the game. Alex Jackson and Ryan O'Hearn also added solo home runs. The game got delayed for over 2.5 hours prior to the 7th inning getting started. Rain delay was the longest for a home game in Rays history. I had to deal with some rain today. It's been all over the country this summer so far. Nobody can escape it. Trevor Rogers has been a really nice piece for the Orioles this year. Took advantage of the early support, picked up his 3rd win of the season. So O's avoid the sweep there. Steve, the Rays are now a game and a half back in the wild card. But in your opinion, do they have the horses to get to the playoffs? Or do you think this is one of those years where they kind of pull what Detroit did last year, where they might trade away, but hope that they continue to win some ball games anyways?
Right. And the Rays have a different philosophy. They can make trades. And you could think, okay, we're putting up the white flag. It's not our year. We're not going to catch the Red Sox. We're not going to catch the Mariners, not going to catch the Yankees for the wild card spots right now. But they could also make some of those moves, but they could also add as well. So you might be left scratching your head about what the Rays are doing. But they're going to be, I think they're going to be in there. They scuffled into the All-Star break. They do win this series at home against the Orioles, take 2 out of 3. As you said, couldn't finish off the series sweep, but I think they're there. I really do. I've seen enough of this team as an opponent in the AL East to the Red Sox to just say, I mean, the Red Sox have owned them, but overall, I think this team is at least in the conversation. They're within striking distance of one of the wild card spots. They wouldn't be in the division. If you had to say Rays, Yankees, Red Sox to catch the Blue Jays, I'd put the Rays 3rd, but they certainly can be in contention for a wild card spot.
Absolutely. Angels were in Philadelphia. Phillies got the comeback win on Saturday thanks to that Schwarber slam. Could they turn that momentum into a series win over the Angels on Sunday? We got Mark from the Locked on Phillies postcast with the answer.
A grand slam from Kyle Schwarber and another 2-run home run from Bryce Harper. Was he to get the Phillies back on track after the All-Star break? Did you think that? No, I hope not. Because this Phillies team is a model of inconsistency. After their 9-5 win on Saturday, they take an 8-2 loss and lose the series to the L.A. Angels. Ranger Suarez got gotten by the Angels bats. 4 1/3, 6 runs allowed. At times, a bit of a tight strike zone there for Ranger, but nonetheless, the Phillies bats weren't there to back him up at all. Otto Kemp led the way with 2 hits in the game. Also, his second home run of his big league career. But all in all, the Phillies go 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They drop again 2 of 3 to the Angels, and now they welcome the Boston Red Sox to South Philadelphia for a 3-game series starting Monday night with Zach Wheeler on the hill.
All right. So clearly, Mark, a little bit frustrated with what's going on. You never really please Phillies fans. They got 56 wins, and they're still up in arms about what's going on with their team, which, we find entertaining. And they're certainly going to be a team that is aggressive at the trade deadline. They always are. So we'll see how aggressive they get as well. Coming up on MLB Game Night, Tarik Skubal, one of the best in the business, if not the best in the business, was back on the mound for the Tigers, trying to snap a 6-game losing streak for Detroit. We'll find out what happened next on MLB Game Night. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, or maybe it's golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little bit more thrilling? FanDuel will help you do that, so you can get in on the game while your friends are out there wasting time doing whatever they're doing. And I've been a FanDuel customer for years. I'm a believer in FanDuel. I've used them to track my favorite matchups in the app. My favorite thing about it is that it keeps everything fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. So it doesn't feel like I'm just going through the motions every time where I'm just like, okay, back on, let's do this again. It's not like that. They make it so it still feels fresh and new and exciting. It's super easy to use. You're not going to have any issues there. It's fast payout when you win, which is great. And it makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the 9th inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're part of the action. And if you're new to FanDuel, good news, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. So open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Back with you on MLB Game Night. Tigers at the Rangers, the Sunday night game. Tigers go into the All-Star break a little bit frosty, and they came out still a little bit frigid, to be honest with you, having lost 6 games in a row. Before Sunday night's game against the Texas Rangers, Tarik Skubal, he gets his first start since the break, lost his last start against the Mariners on July 11th. This is how good this dude has been this year, Steve. First loss since April 2nd. He was 0-2 to start the year and hadn't lost since. Like, that's incredible. How would he respond on Sunday Night Baseball? Quite well, actually. Skubal, 6 and 2/3 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 11 punchies, but was not a part of this decision. Left with 2 outs and runners on first and third. Their reliever came in. They went to the bullpen. Tyler Holton uncorks a wild pitch of all things. That is how the Rangers got the tying run across the plate. The Rangers got a nice start from Jacob Latz, who allowed just 1 run in 5 innings while punching out 3 of his own, but he wasn't a part of the decision either. Bullpens took over in this one. Tigers score 1 in the 8th inning on an RBI single by Matt Vierling, and that is how this one would finish, with the Tigers taking home the victory by a score of 2-1. Steve, Garrett Crochet, your boy in Boston, has been amazing. Tarik Skubal, also amazing. Reigning Cy Young Award winner. Who is your pick right now? Who do you think's the lead horse in that race right now? In no Boston bias, sir.
I have been no doubt, no brainer that it's Tarik Skubal for a 2nd straight year.
Okay.
I'm getting closer. Now it's a 2-pitcher race. It's it's Crochet and it's Skubal. Crochet's gotten a lot closer. And he did exactly what a Cy Young or an Ace should do on Sunday. Avoid a series sweep or stop a losing streak. He did exactly that. Skubal was terrific. 7th game this year, 10-plus strikeouts. They're number 2 and number 3 in ERA. They're 1st and 2nd in strikeouts. This for me is shaping up like a division race down the stretch, because with each start, it might be like the Heisman Trophy voting, from Saturday to Saturday, from start to start. And right now, these guys are online where they're pitching on the same day. Yeah, so right now, Skubal's been the guy for me. He still is, but Crochet is closed in nicely, where it's going to be fun to watch how this plays out.
Yeah, and Boston is winning again. It was a little tough, with Garrett doing as well as he was early on, but the Red Sox weren't winning games, and now they're right there. So that's going to be very interesting to watch moving forward. Cardinals at Diamondbacks. This was not interesting to watch on my side of things. Steve, Cardinals tried to avoid the sweep in the desert, and they had to go to Miles Mikolas on the mound, and he learned the hard way, just like Sonny Gray did on Saturday. Hey, maybe don't challenge Eugenio Suarez. The dude can hit the ball pretty good. 2 home runs on Saturday, does it again on Sunday. 2 more. He's got 35 bombs, 85 RBIs, 3-run home run in the first inning. Basically put the game away because the Cardinals are once again playing from behind, and it's been miserable to watch. 2-out solo shot in the 3rd inning, both of them off Miles Mikolas, who is more like a batting practice pitcher at this point in his career anyway. Diamondbacks complete the sweep with the win. Score was 5-3, 4th sweep of the season for the Diamondbacks. Cardinals rotation gets abused in this series for 20 runs and just 12 innings of work. They should be hanging the "everything is for sale" sign at Busch Stadium tonight. That is where the problem is. I don't know how many customers are going to come shopping and want anything that they have to offer. That's my fear for the Cardinals. Moving on to the Royals at the Marlins. Royals end up getting 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. They beat the Marlins this one handily by a score of 7-1. Chris Bubich, who has been really, really good this year for the Royals, tosses 5 scoreless innings, picks up his 8th win of the season, gave up 3 hits, all singles. He's been excellent. The real problem for the Royals this year has been offense. They get plenty of it in this one by winning it by a score of 7-1. Moving on to the White Sox at the Pirates. It's another series that's up for a sweep possibility. This time you got the White Sox carrying the brooms into Pittsburgh. We got Todd from Locked On White Sox on what went down at PNC Park.
Mike Tauchman hit a home run that may not have landed yet. And Aaron Savali had a dominant start, and the White Sox not only swept the Pittsburgh Pirates, they crushed the Buccos. Hello, I'm Todd Welter, host of Locked On White Sox, and the White Sox beat the Pirates 7-2. The White Sox jumped out early with 4 runs in the first. Miguel Vargas blasted a 3-run homer, and then Tauchman crushed a solo shot that landed in the Allegheny River. It was beautiful. Savali pitched 6 strong innings, allowed 1 run, which was unearned, 3 hits, and struck out 6. And if he could face the Pirates every day, maybe the trade for him for Andrew Vaughn would be a neutral one, instead of it still being advantage Brewers. And I'll have more on tomorrow's episode of Locked On White Sox.
You got to feel somewhat good for the White Sox, right? They've had a tough go the last couple seasons. So to see them picking up a win and getting that sweep, even though it's over Pittsburgh, still good for you guys. A little feather in your cap here in 2025. We got the A's at the Guardians. Now, these teams split the first 2 games of this series. A's used the power on Saturday night. Could Cleveland simmer things down on Sunday? We got Justin from Locked On Guardians with the answer.
Bottle that up and keep that somewhere the rest of the year. The Guardians, an 8-2 winner of the Athletics. They win their first series coming out of the break with a lot of good offense on Friday and again on Sunday. I'm Justin Ladd of Locked On Guardians, and let's start with the offense. Gavin Williams, great day. Let's start with the offense. No Stephen Kwan, no Jose Ramirez played, but he was 0 for 4. So you didn't have your 2 biggest drivers of the offense, as Kwan is still getting checked for this wrist issue. And at the top of the order, Angel Martinez is on a hot streak, who continues to be a young player who ebbs and flows, but the highs are really good. And then David Fry had his best game of the season. It'd be really great to have him back in 2024 form, right? And then Will Wilson, 2 hits. Why not, right? We all expected Will Wilson to be an offensive hero on Sunday. We'll take it. The Guardians won, and then Gavin Williams. Again, bottle this up. The highs have been high for Williams. The lows have been low. This is probably the highest it's been all year. He's getting chases. He's in the zone. 10 strikeouts. And that Athletics lineup, they're young. They're good, they're young, and they're aggressive, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Gavin Williams dominated a really good lineup. This is a good series win for the Guardians, and if they feel like they're going to take themselves seriously as some kind of team that should at least hold the deadline, we're going to need a lot more of this. So tune in to Locked On Guardians for all that discussion and more all week long wherever you get podcasts.
You're in charge of the Guardians, Steve. What do you think? Are you punting and selling guys like Emmanuel Clase, or are you going for it? Are you going to stick with them and see if you can make a move here?
I think you can. I
know it's tough.
They've got a lot. I mean, just those back end of the bullpen guys. I mean, what you can get in return for them, and then you're right back in the mix next year. You've got to do more. This group right now, you could say you're not. No one's catching the Tigers. I mean, they dropped 6 in a row. They still have a 10+ game lead in the AL Central against the rest of the division. So Cleveland's always very interesting. They're always, eye on the present, but also looking towards the future as well. I'd be making phone calls. I really would, for their back end guys. And I would just keep pushing it and saying, hey, you may do it. You may do it. If you do it, we want to be in the mix. We have a package for one of the back end guys. And Quan, as Justin said, with that injury, he's a bat that somebody would want as well at the top of the lineup. He's a proven commodity in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, and excellent defensively out there in left field, too.
Yeah.
Twins at Rockies. Rockies going for the sweep against Minnesota. That is not a typo. That is real life. But it was not meant to be on Sunday. The Twins avoid being swept at Coors Field. They get a 7-1 win in the finale. Joe Ryan, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 11 Ks. He was dominant and looked fantastic. Royce Lewis, who's always hurt, has had a horrible year this year. Smashes 2 solo home runs, his first career multi-home run game. So good to see him swinging the bat and healthy once again, because I think he's a really fun player to watch when he is healthy. And finally, we wrap things up with the Padres at the Nationals. Padres win this finale by a score of 8-1. They take 2 out of 3 in DC. Xander Bogaerts, 2 hits, 4 ribbies. Grand slam in the first inning off of Mackenzie Gore, who had a tough one. 2 1/3, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks, 2 home runs. Not the all-star quality that we're used to seeing out of Mackenzie Gore so far this year, but everybody has bumps in the road from time to time. So there you have it. Nationals even the series at 1 on Saturday, and then the Sunday Padres win the finale and take 2 of 3. And that is going to wrap things up for MLB Game Night. Thank you again for joining us for this episode. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe. We hope you guys will come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night, every game, every night.